quickly, just in terms of housekeeping, I'll start with the safety points to make. I think we all know that this is a no-eating venue. That's part of safety. And this is a non-smoking venue as well, as all the venues are on campus. And in the unlikely event of an emergency, such as fire or roof collapsing or whatever it is, you'll notice that there are 2 exits in front here. Please make use of them. And then there are 4 exits at the back, so which you must please make use of them. They all lead, they've got corridors on either side, so if you come out, take whichever corridor is closest to you, and they all lead you to a safe position. And lastly is the loose, I don't call them restrooms because I don't understand why people think you go there to rest. So they are loose, and the loose will come out of this door or exit, and you follow your right when you are coming out, and the loose are clearly demarcated on the next building directly opposite us. Right, so before the program starts officially, and before I hand over to the program coordinator, I'm just going to ask all of us to observe about 15 seconds of a moment of silence. And generally, this is just an appreciation of all the works that have been done by those that have come before us, and also to just an appreciation that we can be able to carry the lamp that so shines every day. So if you can all just, it's a moment of silence. You don't need to stand, you don't need to kneel. You don't really need to even bow your head, but you may so do if you should wish. Thank you. Thank you. And so now I'm just going to hand over to Professor Elmer de Vries, who is the MBChB coordinator, who is then going to take us through the rest of the program. Thank you.
Apparently somebody left this in one of the blues, so it is here if you would like to collect it. So it's my privilege to warmly welcome you to this occasion. Our first years have embarked on a journey towards becoming a professional, and today is a significant event along that pathway. We've got some guests here with us, and I would like to welcome our Executive Dean, Prof. Zingela, our Deputy Dean, Prof. van Rooyen, I hope I don't leave anybody out. Prof. Nombete has already spoken, our Director of the Medical School. Prof. Glova, who will be introduced to you just now, who's our special guest. And then we've got some guests from the Faculty of Health Sciences here as well. Professor Jardine Babu from Nursing Sciences, Ms. Nokobonga Kwentela from Emergency Medical Care, and Dr. Mbali Livunapil from Pharmacy Services. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. And then our sponsors for today is APSA, and thanks to them for making this possible. So it's Andy De Lamar and Karen Marin and colleagues. Thank you for being here. And then our medical school colleagues, thanks for joining us on this occasion. And yeah, as Prof. Nombete said, the most important people today are our first year medical students. Prof. Zingela will introduce our main speaker. Prof. Zingela is our Executive Dean of our Faculty of Health Sciences. She was previously Associate Prof and Head of Psychiatry, and she also serves on the Medical and Dental Board and the International Narcotics Control Board. So, Prof. Zingela, over to you.
That's better. So how's everybody doing today? Good. Doesn't sound like it. Yeah, the last time we met first year, your voice was loud. Is it the white coats that are making you feel? Because if that's the case, we can always take them off, right? So how are you feeling? Oh, that sounds better. I think the last time we spoke about excitement. What else did we mention? Yes, but the things that you mentioned were excitement, happy, inspired, and scared. So which one are you today? I can see some of you look very much in doubt. Yeah, it's lovely to see you, and you will be hearing wonderful things from our guest speaker, Prof. Nozadlova, who is the Dean at UKZN School of Medicine, which is basically where I did my undergrad, by the way, and where you did your undergrad as well. So, yeah, anyway, so basically we are alumni, and it is such an honor to have her with us today. So I'm not going to take too much of the limelight, because you can see most Uguti, if there's going to be two of us on the stage, there's just going to be too much bright light. So what I'm going to do is, without further ado, I'm going to be introducing Prof. Nozadlova. Prof. Zlova is the Dean of the School of Clinical Medicine and Head of Dermatology in the University of KwaZulu-Natal Medical School, as we mentioned. And for those who may not know, that's in Durban. She is the only female dean amongst the 9 medical schools deans. Then, now she's joined by moi. And she is definitely one of the first African female dermatologists in South Africa. She has since trained and mentored more than 40 dermatologists. Who wants to be a dermatologist here? There you go. So now you've got a role model right in front of you, okay? And she has managed to train so many of those dermatologists, and some of them are now heading well-established, successful public hospital skin clinics. She's an internationally acclaimed dermatologist and well-recognized in South Africa, and I think across the world, actually, not just South Africa and Africa. I know famous people. She's on Wikipedia. She has many accolades and awards behind her name. Recently, she was awarded a leadership award as the best dean leader in her college. She is well published with more than 85 scientific publications in peer-reviewed journals, and an NRF-rated researcher with more than 15 chapters in international dermatology textbooks and 2 dermatology books which depict and are relevant to South African and Black skins. She is a member of numerous international dermatology boards and societies, and she also, has her own hairline for those who might be interested. There you go. So I'm sure that's one of the questions we're going to be asking before you leave this place, Prof. about your hairline. She started support groups for albinism, atopic eczema, hair loss. We all know that alopecia was in the news recently, not necessarily for all the right reasons, because of what happened after. But what we do know is that it helped to shine a light on a condition that we don't necessarily always focus on. She's working as on an educational handbook on skin and hair care for distribution at all schools so that education can start at an early age. She's been invited as guest speaker in more than 35 countries, and therefore we are especially honored that she took the time to come and chat to us today. In 2021, she started her own range of hair products called Nwele. Of course, for those who don't know, they'll think, oh, that sounds exotic. Meanwhile, we know it literally is what it says, isn't it? So there's also information about where that's available if you want to, try Nwele for yourself. And what is wonderful is that This is not usual, you know. When you go into a shop, you don't necessarily know who started that hair product. You go and you use it. In this instance, you've got the originator right in front of you, which I think is an honor. In 2022, Prof. Dlova established the Prof. Dlova Medical Student Fund. She's also started public education talks on her Instagram platform. So you can actually also follow her on Instagram. And these are to share and dispel all the myths that people find on social media. She shares the platform with her international skin and her expert colleagues and friends. If you want to learn more about skin and hair from a professor and scientist, follow her on Instagram. So, you know, if one looks at the number of awards that she has received, it is 2015, it was Leadership Excellence and Innovation by the MEC of KZN. 2017, prestigious awards by the American Dermatology Association. In 2018, a leadership award by African Women's Dermatology Society. In 2018, she was nominated or received an award for being one of the top 10 researchers at the School of Medicine, identified as one of the influential women in South Africa by Mail and Guardian. She's received a Research Excellence Award again in 2019 from MEC, Professional of the Year Award by Durban Chamber of Commerce, Research Excellence Award. You know what I really miss from this bio, which Prof. Ngoza herself gave to me, is that she worked on a very important topic, and that is on alopecia and what causes alopecia, especially in particular groups. And so if you are really interested to know more, Prof. Ngoza here is a pioneer. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over the mic to her. So I don't know if you're like me, if you want to walk around or whether you want me to put it in the okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, so you're allowed to sleep, but don't snore, right? Yeah. So to my junior colleagues here, this afternoon, I'm going to share my journey and some of the other students' journey. What I'm going to say here, I actually did a very quick pilot within my medical school. And I asked students from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth year, what pearls would you like to share? You know, were you to share if you were to do all over again? And what I'm going to say to you here is almost sort of evidence-based. However, I did not have any ethics approval to get to do this. So it's not from my experience, it's also from your colleagues from UKZN. So I want to quote Low Holtz here and say, ability is what you are capable of doing, which all of you have here. And motivation determines what you do. And of course, attitude determines how well you do it. So you are here as the creme de la creme of South Africa. Don't ever forget that. There are thousands of students who wanted to do medicine, but you were chosen. You were the top 80 students that were chosen to be the inaugural first-year students of this medical school. Doesn't that sound as a great achievement? I don't want to hear any one of you saying, I cannot. I am unable to. I am dropping out. Right? There will be challenges along the way, but there are remedies for those challenges. Every day has got light and darkness. So just like the 6 years that are upcoming, there will be dark days, there will be days full of light. But everything passes. The bright days will pass, the dark days will also pass. So rest assured, in the next 6 years, there will be challenges. Whether it's personal, whether it's academic, whether it is social, they will be there. Whether it has to do with your boyfriend or girlfriend, they will be there. you'll be dumped, and you will dump too. You will be dumped many times. You will also dump many times. That is just life. That is the core of life. Some of you will meet your husbands and your wives here. Definitely. I met my husband in first year. And I'm still with him right now. So I was like, he was 4 people behind me when we were going to register. And then those days we were wearing miniskirts. So each time when we chat with our friends, like, what did you see in her? He would say, I like the legs. So I decided not to wear a short skirt today because I don't want anyone to see my legs. So, junior colleagues. Okay. So, I wanted to show you something that you are familiar with as the youth, the navigation. There is no way in life that you will move without a navigation. You need a roadmap. Whether you are getting married, whether you're starting high school, whether you are preparing for a tournament, you need a roadmap. So today, I'm going to share a roadmap with you. Some of you are privileged. Some of you have got parents who are doctors, or who've done medicine, or who are educated. Some of you don't have parents. Some of you don't have parents who are educated. You probably, maybe you are the first graduate from your family. So this talk is for you too. Remember also, when you are going to cook, you check your YouTube and you're following the recipe. You need ingredients, isn't it? You can't plan to make pasta or umngqusho without making sure what you need to cook umngqusho or istambu, or to roast your meat. You need the spices, you need the stove, you need the right heat, you need the oil, all of that. So that's what I'm going to go through with you today. So if one of your consultants asks you, what strategies do you have in mind to complete your MBChB? You let me know. Have you guys thought about that? Never. And that's the reason why your consultants, your professors, your deans have invited me today, hopefully, to share these strategies with you, because we've walked the path before. And remember this, anything in life, you have to have a roadmap. You have to have your GPS. You have to have your coordinates. Prof. Nomvete, let me know if I'm taking too long, right? So this will help you to prepare. And this student was asked, the response was, I don't know, I will just do it. So that doesn't work. You need to have a roadmap. And this roadmap speaks to meeting your curriculum demands, looking after your mental health and self-care, and managing your social interactions. And you need a balance of these. You cannot have the social interactions up when there's a party. They know that Mr. X and Miss F is always there. Something will have to give. You cannot. At the same time, you can't be studying all the time. You need to take a break. You need to engage. You need to make friends. I see there's a diverse group of students here. The one thing you also need to make sure is that you have friends from all diverse groups. It is so important. Diversity is so important. We are brought up in different ways. You need to learn the other cultures. You need to learn how the other students think. Diversity in gender and diversity in ethnicity. When you finish 6th year, make sure your friends are all across the board. If you have not done that, you have failed socially. Don't stick to one group. If you are African, don't stick to Africans. If you're white, don't stick to whites only, or Indians, or Asians, or coloreds, or whatever. Make sure you have a diverse group, because each one of these groups will teach you something that you don't know. And as I say, if you have failed to do that, you have failed to maximize your social interactions. As I mentioned, preparation is the key. So if you could have one superpower, what would it be? If you had one superpower, what would it be? Like you come here, this is your orientation, what would you want to be? Be clever, have good memory, know everything, have emotional intelligence, manage your time properly. What would it be? There are curriculum demands, and these are the curriculum demands that you will face. Work smart and strategize. Workload is immense in medicine. Your matric students that you started with, in 4 years they'll be done. They'll finish their LLB, become BSc, social science, you will still be hoarding. You will still have another 2 years. They'll be driving nice cars, they'll be married, they'll be earning, you will still be working. They will be wearing smart clothes, they'll be investing in property. I like to focus on finances as well. Don't compare yourself with other people. Plan at the start of each term and module or theme or block. You must plan, what is this module about? What is this theme about? So that it's easy for you to navigate. Sorry. List all the topics that you need to be studied. Daily 2 hours of quality reading are more crucial than whole day of haphazard reading. Plan every day. Keep 2 hours for strict concentration and studying. We're all different in the way we study. Some people are morning people, some are evening people. Get to know what type of a person you are and stick to that. Get enough sleep. Some people are okay with 4 hours of sleep. Some are okay with 6. I'm okay with 8 hours of sleep. I need my 8 hours, otherwise I become dysfunctional the following day. And my husband needs 5 hours, and we always fight because he wants to watch the TV. So understand your individual learning style. I'm going to focus on that later on. Ask when you don't know. 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 I'm saying that 5 times. It's important. You've got amazing lecturers here who are very friendly. They will always be willing to help. Don't be shy. No question is stupid. Create a study group. We found that so helpful. Dr. Nomvete, Prof. Nomvete, we tell you, and Prof. Sinela. We found it so helpful. Create a study group and look for top students in your class. Motivated students. Those who are getting good marks. Those who are motivated and dedicated. And surround yourself with those people. Some people can't study in groups, it's okay if you can't do that, but we found this so helpful. There's something called metacognition. And do you know what that is? It is one's knowledge concerning one's own cognitive processes or anything related to them. And it's referred to, can you hear me? Okay, hello? Hello? Yeah, sorry. It's intentional thinking about how you think and learn. Have you ever asked yourself that? How do I think? How do I learn? What are some of the thoughts that go through my mind? Your brains are such amazing things. There's 100 things that go through your brain all the time. So you need to be focused all the time. So it's about thinking about thinking. That's what metacognitive thinking is. And I'm going to speak to Prof. Nomvete to see if we can invite one of my colleagues who's very good in this concept. So as I mentioned, get to know your learning style. Some people want to see things, some people want to hear things, others want to feel them. There's YouTube, lots of information there as well. And this is one of the doctors who can assist you in terms of how you study. And I can give Prof. Nomvete the details, can give you a talk over Zoom one of the days. So remember, failing to prepare is equal to preparing to fail. Resilience is common. Resilience is needed in MBChB. It's a problem. I was going to show a video here, but I don't know if I have enough time. Maybe I will skip it. Yeah, and I'll leave it with a talk with Dr. Nomvete. But this video shows it shows students who decided not to only focus on their studies, but they've got extracurricular hobbies. Some are poets, some are artists, and they are from UKZN. So the next point is self-care. Affirm yourself, reflect, make time for yourself. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Discard the negative inner loud voices that come through your brain and associate yourself with positive people. If you find that your friend is negative and toxic, run very far. Run a marathon very far from her. And you can see people who are toxic and negative. And you can pick them up. Prof. Zingela will teach you how to identify such individuals. Psychiatrists are very good with that. Look after your mental health and be intentional. Exercise, read books, be involved in some sporting, and seek help when you need one. Compete with yourself, this is very important, and don't compete with others. Use yourself as the benchmark. If you were doing psychiatry or medicine and you got 45% the previous time, next time you must get 50, next time you must get 60% and all of that. Don't compete with your friends. Create your own peace and harmony amidst the chaos that is you may face. Compartmentalize and organize your thoughts and make sure that everything within your brain is organized.
A round of applause.
Yes.
I think it was difficult to interrupt a talk that was so inspirational even to me. But I got an added advantage, something that neither Prof. Zingela nor Prof. Lova said, is that in Prof. Lova's younger days, she was my teacher. So when I was trained in dermatology, she trained me. And there's another thing that she didn't speak about, of the community work that community outreaches that she was involved in for so many years. And so she found me in a rural area called Manguzi, and we used to do a skin clinic together. So she's an amazing person. I think, just on that note, we've got a little token here. We may not have gold or silver, but it's an appreciation for the work that you've done in the past, and you coming to really grace us with your presence. Thank you so much. Now is the moment that we've been waiting for. It is the moment that belongs to our junior colleagues, our first year students. And I am going to request everyone except the first year students to remain seated. And I guess another person who will stand with the first year students is the camera person. So that is allowed. So students, you will note that wherever you are seated, you've got the modified Hippocratic Oath. And please make sure you have a copy. That copy you will take and you will paste it on your room. And make sure that if you can't do it every day that you read it, please read it at least once a week. I've said this before, I still read it. There are some parts that really, really frighten me when I read it, and then they recenter me. There was an issue of the compass and navigation. This is a tool that you need to remember. So please just put it on the wall. You don't have to be perfect around it, maybe, I just need to remind you. But the more you practice it, the more perfect you will be in its principles. All right, so junior colleagues, I invite you to please stand up, and then we'll recite this. In the presence of family, friends, teachers, and colleagues, and in the spirit of Hippocrates, I pledge to keep this oath.
In the presence of family, friends, teachers, and colleagues, and in the spirit of Hippocrates, I pledge to keep this oath.
First, I will do no harm.
First, I will do no harm.
I will honor those who teach me the art and science of medicine.
I will honor those who teach me the art and science of medicine.
I will remember with gratitude and humility those whose illness or injury provided examples from which I learn.
I will remember with gratitude and humility those whose illness or injury provided examples from which I learn.
And in their honor,
I
will continue the pursuit of knowledge.
I will continue the pursuit of knowledge.
I will share my knowledge with future colleagues and all who are in want or need of it.
I will share my knowledge with future colleagues and all who are in want or need of it.
I will practice medicine with conscience and humility.
I will practice medicine with conscience and humility.
And I will act with enduring respect for the dignity of human life.
And I will act with enduring respect for the dignity of human life.
Foremost in my mind will be compassion, respect, and impartial care for my patients.
Foremost in my mind will be compassion, respect, and impartial care for my patients.
I will hold sacred the trust of my patients and respect the secrets that they confide in me.
I will hold sacred the trust of my patients and respect the secrets that they confide in me.
I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my art.
I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my art.
Finally, I will do all in my power to help my patients reach physical, mental, and spiritual health.
I will do all in my power to help my patients reach physical, mental, and spiritual health.
And I will strive for this balance in my own life.
And I will strive for this balance in my own life.
May I have the courage and the character to hold these principles sacred from this day forward.
May I have the courage and character to hold these principles sacred from this day forward.
As I place myself into the service of humankind.
As I place myself into the service of humankind.
This oath I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
This oath I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Thank you. You may be seated, Jim. Our sponsors have been very kind enough to want to be associated with this activity. And this is the ABSA bank. And I do not know who will come to speak on their behalf, but they do have 15 seconds. No, certainly not. They will have some time. They do know the amount of time we've allocated to them. And I do welcome the partnership. I do know that Prof. Singela will be making the closing remarks. I do welcome the partnership, not just for the sponsorship of this activity, but also the investment that we have agreed upon in terms of financial literacy that we started last year with our undergraduate students. And this, we've agreed, will continue through the 6 years, the issue at different levels in the medical program. So this is why the partnership is there. It is really to invest into our students and so that they come financially stronger mentally. So thank you. Andy, I'll hand over to you. Now Andy is one of our closer guys. So we call him Kakeni. And you will soon realize why we call him Kakeni. So they like Kakeni, because of course I'm being matatu.
It was a problem. I was listening to your comments about bullying, and this reminded me of something. You know, if you've passed the beachfront recently, you'd have seen that there are a lot of athletes running, cycling, swimming, and I'm part of a group of mates, and we do some relay events just for fun. But there's one relay we do every year, and we sit and we strategize before, and like, who's going to swim this leg and who's going to swim that one, who's going to run. And every year the guys sit down and say, there's one leg that no one wants to do. It's the longest, and the sea is the roughest on this particular leg. And these are old friends, older than me. And they said, you're the youngest, you're doing that leg. So I'm bullish. But then in preparing for today's event, Mr. King was kind enough, I don't know if he was kind, he sent us the program. Hey, I tell you, Prof, Absa. And then Abba, Tamanabo, Bandi John, but we're on time. You're the oldest, you're going to talk. And I'm thinking, guys, if you want to discriminate, at least be consistent, yeah? Don't be selective. So, Prof. Singel, the leadership of the Nelson Mandela University Medical School, thank you once again for inviting us to partner with you today. ABSA colleagues, please speak to them afterwards. We've got people here from branches, from private banks, doctors. Do I need this? Can you hear me without the mic? Yeah. So please engage with the guys. Then we even have a bespoke offering for youth and students. And there's Faraz over there, our youth and student specialist. So do make some time to engage with the team afterwards, please. But it's indeed a privilege and an honor for us to be here at the second oath-taking ceremony. And I must just congratulate the school on a set of sterling results for your first years. We've been monitoring. We always follow the money, so we wanted to see what's happening. And the guys did really well, so congrats on that. And then, being here, we've had a long association with the Nelson Mandela University over many years, and doing many things with the institution, ranging from training pharmacy assistants through to maths and science programs, to working with the medical school as well. And people often want to say, well, why do you do this? What's ABSA got to do with the university? What's ABSA got to do with a program such as this? And we realize in ABSA that business does not exist in a vacuum. We exist in the context of society, and we have this saying that business cannot succeed in a society that fails. In class of it means that one bird will build its nest with the feathers and fluff of another one. But if the one bird is in poor condition, the other one's going to have a really shabby nest. So there's this interdependency, and that's why we do this sort of stuff. It's in everyone's mutual interest to have well-qualified doctors, to have well-qualified mathematicians, to have well-qualified bankers, for our collective future. And partnerships are important to us. I'm reminded again of the words of one of the Harvard business specialists, Jane Nelson. She said, responding to complex emergencies, upholding human rights, addressing climate change, and tackling global health challenges, there is little argument that the primary responsibility belongs to government. However, in today's world, resources and influence are usually too dispersed for any one sector to have all the necessary answers, capabilities, or legitimacy to implement solutions on their own. Now, she wrote this before COVID, she wrote this before the Ukraine crisis, and she wrote this before Will Smith's Evening at the Oscars. I think from our side, just to say really we do value partnerships because we see how important they are to our intertwined future. And then what else are we doing here? We are a financial services group. And we have a number of bespoke offerings, particularly for students. Firstly, we talk about external sales, and what does that mean? People have this mindset of, I'm going to the bank. When you go, I can save again. No, that has changed. We come to you. It's far more convenient. It saves time. So if you're busy studying or practicing, instead of leaving your patients or your books and going to the bank, let us know. We come to you. For us and the team, come on site with devices that can offer a whole range of solutions right here or at your res or wherever you find yourself. So it's all about convenience. And then there are a couple of value adds, financial education, as Prof. Nombete mentioned. And kuthiwa ngesixhosa akukho gqirha okwazi ukuzinyanga. There's no doctor that can heal him or herself. And I always thought it came from, I think, Luke chapter 4, where it says, physician, heal yourself. It didn't. It actually came from a banker who looked at some of the doctor's finances. And my colleagues are tired of hearing me speak about this thing, because, you know, in academia, we always talk about IQ, and people now talk about emotional intelligence, EQ. There is something called FQ, financial intelligence. And as they do not necessarily accompany each other, because we've had highly qualified people from different sectors, including medicine, and you look at their there's something hectically wrong here. And some of the basic stuff, I mean, you know, and COVID has surfaced, has highlighted the cracks, has highlighted the flaws. We've had, unfortunately, doctors passing away, and there's no will in place. We've got pharmacists, for instance, who are over-indebted and are now sitting on debt counseling. Clearly, IQ, ILA, but FNQ, So we're really looking forward to interacting with you through some of those sessions. And you know, we cover a lot of stuff. I saw Maslow's hierarchy up there in one of the things, and he's one of the needs theorists, but I mean, we have interesting debates. I mean, people argue, what is a need, what is a want? And it's keen to know the difference when it comes to budgeting. You can't be like the one kid who said, I need to want sweets. You need to be able to distinguish between them. So that's some of the stuff we cover. So really from our side, firstly, congratulations to you for being here. I see there, I believe that there are 80 of you, but I believe there were over 5,600 people that applied. So well done in making it, you know, to be here. I'd like to wish you everything the best with your studies.
Kagela and your team. It's always good to see you. Although I think we see each other less than an hour in a year, but that's fine. That's financial intelligence on my part. Just a reminder: someone's classes, they do look like they're prescription classes. Okay, all right. We will keep them here after. All right. Okay. So we don't know how much you've missed of the ceremony without us. That's okay. So to just the concluding remarks, which shall be brief in as considering our special guest has to catch a flight. She has been so kind enough really to fly in and fly out. We all hate that, but somehow we have to do it. So he's going to be our executive dean, Professor Zungizingela. I am not going to introduce much to her. If I try to read her CV, I mean, you heard how long people's CVs are, you know, so, but the reason she's always so passionate about you is not because that she's a mother, it's because she's a mental health practitioner and a psychiatrist. So she always wants to appeal to our emotional intelligence. So, Professor Zungizingela, over to you. Thank you.
Everyone, and I think for the sake of expediency and time and haste and looking at our special guest, I cannot say thank you enough. The words of wisdom we heard, I mean, some of those messages, what I love about them is that you are hearing them for the second time. The other day, you can actually tell our special guest, what did we discuss? We focused on that. So I love the idea that these messages keep coming back, because it tells you, if I tell you that and another dean tells you that, it tells you how important it is. And believe you me, we're going to talk some more about it. So I loved the whole package that you heard from Prof. Clover, because one of the key things that you also have to remember is if you should trip and fall, it is not necessarily the end of your journey. You can always find a way to get up. And she's a beautiful example, having established and shared with us some of the areas where she tripped, and you can see how high she managed to climb despite those events that she mentioned. So, Prof. Nozadova, thank you so much for sharing so openly and honestly with us. And believe you me, this is not the last time we're going to be asking you to come and share. So in order for you to come back and come back willingly, I'm going to willingly release you because I know you have a plane to catch. I would have loved to catch up. One thing I can promise, Prof. Dlova, and you are my witnesses, is that next time when I travel to, wherever I travel to, when I brought her a gift, I'm going to bring 2. And she knows what I mean. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I'm hoping that there is somebody who's going to make sure that Prof. Dlova gets to the airport on time. So you'll have to bear with me because she can't go without receiving a hug from me. COVID times or not, we still have to do this. So 1 second and then I'll be back on.